Hello everybody, welcome back to Gardening IRL with Liz. We are going to be planting some garlic and then we're going to be talking about the garden at large, but very first we've got some very mysterious garlic gifted to me by my family. So I do know for a fact that it is a hardneck garlic because you can tell by the stem going all the way through where the bulbs are and going all the way down. These are definitely all hardneck varieties. Some of them are larger and smaller. I've got some that have the little bulbs. This is what a skinned garlic looks like, so you don't want to get it down to where you've got the shiny part because that's actually the part that you would eat. So since the skin came off of this one, I'll be setting this one aside. And the second one, it seems to be a very large variety. I think these are like an elephant variety, but it is also a hardneck. You can tell by the stem going down to the side. The real difference between a hardneck and a softneck, the hardneck has a stem that goes all the way down to the root, the softneck does not. Also, I have a couple that I peeled and they look to have some sort of imperfections, almost like they were set in the ground too long. One that looks like it's got stabbed by whatever it was that was used to dig it up, so I'll set those aside as well. The large variety, the elephant variety, or whatever it is, I'll be planting 2 inches deep with the flat side down and the tapered part up towards the top, and I will plant the regular size 1 inch down, and I will cover them back up with soil, and later on I will come back after they've had a chance to root and do some covering and mulching and everything else like that for later on. Hello everybody, welcome back to my garden. We've got a lot of stuff to cover and a very little bit of time because I'm pretty sure there's another 18-wheeler barreling down the highway coming to wreck my video. To recap on what just happened, I planted my garlic and we are getting ready for the fall. Most of my crops are already in for the fall. Some of them are trying to grow, some of them are being pains. But if anything grows, I'm happy because I've never actually had a fall garden before at all. So right behind me I've got some lettuces, I've got some radishes, I've got some other brassicas. I'm not sure exactly which ones I planted where because I kind of peppered them everywhere, hoping that something will grow. So we'll just see. I've got broccoli, cauliflower, some cabbage. I think I even threw in a Brussels sprout here and there. Bok choy. I think I threw in a couple of bok choy, but all of those, I have no idea what survived and what didn't. And when I went to go plant new plants in the places where things didn't germinate, I just picked one. Also, I have found out that my Alyssian, apparently around here, starts growing around the fall time. So I went around to all of my gardens and planted some more sweet Alyssian because it's one of the few plants that I have that's actually blooming right now. It looks really good. I will be starting up a new channel for this upcoming year. I'm pretty sure I will be starting it rather soon. I'm just trying to nail down a name. If you guys have any names for a homesteading channel, let me know. Let me know down in the comments. Even if you've posted one before, I don't mind you posting it again just so I'll have a quicker reference because we're going to be doing some voting on it. Between the channel, between the family members, because I kind of want everybody in the family to have like a little bit of a handle on it, knowing that this is also there for them. Even though this is kind of my passion and nobody else's, I'm okay with that. But I kind of want to pass this knowledge off on to the next generation, the things that I learn doing all of this. I want my children to know for whenever they get older and have their own families. We will be doing a homesteading channel, not just a farming or gardening channel, but it's going to be more like an urban homestead. We're going to have chickens. I will get some sort of meat bird. We're already discussing how we can move those along the property to make sure that they're fed, plus it'll help us keep the bug pressure down on the garden itself. So that's going to be a thing. I'm considering also getting rabbits because if you didn't know, the manure that you get from, say, cows, horses, even like chickens, you have to let those sit and marinate for a while before you put them as compost on your plants. Otherwise they will burn up your plants, so to speak. But rabbit pellets, I guess you could say, because that's what they do, is they pellet. Their manure can go fresh into a garden and you can plant straight into it. So I'm thinking about rabbits, and of course they would also probably be meat rabbits, even though I would have to have someone else process them. I don't do so well with blood, but I don't mind after it's all processed, cooking it. Aside from also naming and having plans for animals and stuff like that, as a matter of fact, the camera currently right now is sitting where the chicken pen will be going in the spring. I did any of the work. I didn't. Van did all the work. He's starting to work on a high tunnel, which is going to be like a mini high tunnel. It's basically going to be the greenhouse. So we're going to have that going in the spring. We've got, I think, 4 different plants I'm eyeballing on the property. I have finally ventured up to the trees and stuff like that on the front property, the front of the property, and found out that we've got a, what was it called? I'll think of it later. Or editing Liz, if you don't mind, just like paste it here. That. We've got one of those. Now it's currently surrounded by all kinds of plants and surrounded by vines and stuff, so it's not producing anything, but if I can salvage it or take a cutting and move it, then I'll do that. Plus we've got some really good bulbing flowers that are across the road where the mailbox for this property used to be. And I'm pointing like you can actually see what I'm talking about. But the point is they're like big broadleaf, little bitty flowers. I'll probably show like a picture of it right here. I've got a couple of different species of that are growing around the property that I need to move and put in better places. We've got some muscadine growing, which we call scuppling vine. We've got some muscadine growing in like 3 or 4 different places that if I can propagate, I can move it to a more sustainable area. Right now it's just kind of like running wild in the little bits of forest that exist. And it's obviously not producing anything because it's not getting enough sun or enough nutrients to do anything. Plus, I have brought in some elderberry and some goji berries, and those are going to get planted out. So there's a lot of things going. And for my first video on the new channel, I want to show what all has been accomplished this year as kind of a, this is where we're starting because this is as far as I've gotten in the first year and we only have half a year to work on it. So the next video after that would be me starting the process of working on several things that are going to be going into it. Is that better? Can y'all see me better now? I need a tripod, a proper tripod, not one that I have to rig, because it takes too long to rig it. Anyway, whenever I start the new channel, it's going to be showing off the property, the things that I learned this year. There's a lot of things that I learned this year by experimenting. There's some things that I have been reading on that I want to try out. So a lot of plans for the upcoming year. The only thing that's going to hold me back, of course, are finances. That's everybody, so things will have to take, you know, whatever is important at the time will take precedence. So I would like to be able to document that journey on an actual homesteading channel. Plus, if we get to the point to where I can utilize my kitchen a little bit more efficiently, I wouldn't mind sharing some like recipes that I've picked up, like elderberry syrup, some vanilla extract, the dry goji berries that I have learned about, all kinds of stuff that I've been learning about that I want to try and I would like to share the recipes for. Plus, of course, canning whenever I start learning how to can, because as many years as I've been growing stuff, I've never had enough at one time to can. So I'm learning techniques and I would like to try those out next year, assuming everything goes okay. And the season isn't completely and utterly weird like it has been this year. Weather has been odd. Just as like a taste of some of the things that I learned, I actually put it out on Twitter, so I might as well say it here too instead of waiting for the next channel. Something that I've learned this year that was valuable for next year is peppers like company. Even though they like a lot of sun, their fruits scorch very, very easily. I had a lot of scorched peppers. Now mind you, I got the most peppers this year than I have ever before. I've actually got 1.5 quarts frozen, that are cut up and frozen. And I only usually have like this much because I've got a bad tendency of letting them go bad. And this year I was determined to make as much use out of everything that I possibly could. So I have actually got 1.5 quart bag of bell peppers cut up, and an entire quart bag of jalapenos cut up, and about 1/2 quart of banana peppers. But I've eaten so many banana peppers this year. I've had them on everything. Sandwiches, eggs, I've cut them up and put them in food. Banana peppers are like some of my favorite. Next year I would love to try some new flavors so I can make some hot sauce and stuff like that. So those are some ideas that I have. But the thing that I learned is the peppers need companions. Like, they need to be planted close together to protect each other from the sun. The fruit itself needs protection. So I've learned that. I have learned that cherry tomatoes work very, very well here. They are so good. They worked so well, and we used to spend money at the store buying those all the time, and half of them would go bad, but I could just come out here and pick them whenever I wanted to and add them into food, and it was great. I also learned that I don't necessarily care for paste tomatoes, because if I'm not cutting them up to use them as sauce, which I did make one thing as sauce this year, but if I'm not cutting them up into sauce, what else am I using them for? But I can get some big, like, heirloom tomatoes, use them as slicers fresh, or I can core them and stick them in the freezer and make spaghetti sauce and all that stuff. It just means I'll have to cook them down longer, and I'm okay with that if I save them to like fall when it starts getting chilly and I want the house warm. It'd be the perfect time to preserve things like that. And now that I know how to do that, I think that's going to be fun. That's two things that I've learned. Another thing, I'm a big fan of sunflowers. I didn't think I would be. I just thought I was planting them just to be planting them for the sunflowers. I actually very much enjoy the way they look. They make me smile. So those are going to be added in next year. What's something else I learned? Carrots, somehow or another, start very, very well later in the season and are absolute crap during the summertime. Don't even try it here. What else? Succession plant squash. And that's because the vine borers got to my squash really, really fast this year. I only got a small flush of squash before they were taken over. If I succession plant into different areas, it's less likely I will lose access to all squash throughout the entire season. Plus, probably try a couple of different ones, because I never even, butternut. The butternut squash never even got, they were all like this big before the vine borer got a hold to it. So I think I need to plant those earlier, and I need a succession plant. So what else did I learn? I guess I'm working on that. Those are some of the things that I've learned from this garden this year. That doesn't seem like a whole lot, but believe it or not, that's going to help out in figuring out where I want stuff for next year. If you happen to know of a female content creator who uses a lapel mic and the sound is very good and crisp, not at all like a canned sound, and they happen to have listed in their description or whatever what brand microphone that they use for their lapel mic. If you guys could drop that down in the comment section if you happen to see any. I have been looking all over the place. Most of them are out of my price range right now, but I am looking to get one. I just don't want to buy one, spend the money on it, and then come to find out it doesn't sound well for a female voice, because a lot of the microphones that I have picked up and used over the years, you can watch tutorials on how to make them sound better, but with my tone, I don't know if it's because of my pitch or because I'm so monotone, I don't know. But a lot of the microphones that I used in the past, I didn't like the sound quality, I didn't like how canned they made me sound, I didn't like how metallic the sound was, and I would prefer that the first microphone on a brand new channel does not sound like that. I would rather use the camera microphone. As long as it's facing towards me, it sounds okay. The problem is it also picks up all of the ambient sound that I don't need, like cars. So if you happen to know of one, if you wouldn't mind dropping that stuff down there in the comment section along with a name for a homesteading channel, hit me up in the comment section. Right now we're just gonna run over there and take a peek at the rest of the garden. I know I've been talking for a while. Hopefully Editing Liz can figure out a way of cutting this down so it sounds okay, and we can move on to the part that's actually fun, and that's actually looking at all of the crops instead of me talking and blabbing. And right here we have our sweet Elysian. Oddly enough, I planted that in the springtime. Back when I planted all of these beds out, first planting, I planted this. It just came up about a month ago. So I put the flowers there, and they sprouted whenever it was time. I like it. We've also finally got some peas coming up. My lettuce is extremely bitter, but I'm letting it go to seed and allowing the flowers for the pollinators. Also, I've completely given up on ever trying kale, ever. Apparently, this is going to be one of my catch crops that are going to sit here, and my caterpillars are going to eat them. Which is fine, sort of. From what not a catch crop, a trap crop. From what I've heard, there's a few people who grow certain crops that the creatures in their garden are attracted to, whether it's a bunny that's attracted to it, or moths, or different types of bugs, the aphids in their area, whatever it is, as long as whatever it is attracted to those plants, they'll grow it just to keep the bugs and stuff away from other ones. So that the kale seems to be a catch-all. It's just attracting all of the stuff and it's staying away from my beans and away from my lettuce. So I'm actually kind of okay with them doing that. Alright, and in this bed, it's the lettuce again, of course. Oddly enough, that lettuce is the same lettuce that I planted in the springtime. It's still alive, it's still there. I tried eating some of it. Of course it's bitter because it's flowering, but it's there and it's thriving. And I kind of want the seeds because those survived the entire year, even through the drought. So those are some tough seeds. Also, right behind me is finally another flush of radishes that I planted earlier. I think I'm going to try and actually grow them to seed. From what I've seen, there's a lot of seeds inside one little package of a seed pod. And I would like those for next year, so I think I'm going to let these go to seed. It's probably going to be the last ones I can get to grow this year, though I have sprinkled some more in other areas. If those sprout and don't get immediately chomped on by all of the roly-polies, I'll probably seed those and go ahead and eat these. We'll have to see if they survive the roly-poly invasion, because the roly-polies are just at it this year. Also, right behind me, this is going to be our miniature high tunnel. And I'm going to put a couple of beds in there to grow things that are kind of like tropical almost, that I probably wouldn't be able to grow out in my garden, like some turmeric or something like that. I'll probably grow there, plus I'll have some seed starting trays in there, and a big flat for me to do more seed starting. But I will get some more seed started. Oh my gosh, something's been in here digging. And this bed that's sitting right behind me has been my pollinator bed all year long. And I have been slowly adding to it. I have got a lot of different plants that are being put in there right now, and we'll see how they turn out. Mostly they're experiments and things that I have found around the yard to see if I can propagate or move them without killing them, and some of them have thrived. Alright, and right now we're sitting in our regular garden that I've shown a few times. I'm sitting right in front of my walking onion. I hope that you guys can see that. But the garden here hasn't changed all that much. We've got several brassicas in random places. I have no idea whether or not they're going to survive, if they're going to thrive, if they're going to give us anything that's useful. This will be the first time I've ever tried it. But just about everything else inside the garden is winding down, and if I'm reading that correctly, I'm probably just about out of battery because I've talked for so long I didn't get around to showing a whole hell of a lot. More to come on the next channel, so if you have any ideas for channel names or that lapel mic I was asking about earlier, I would love to hear about it. Plus, if you have any triumphs or I learned a thing in the garden this year, I would love to hear about those things in the comment section. I will see you guys next time. You have a wonderful day, wonderful night, and you stay shiny. Bye! Which is entirely possible, or it's going to become my experimental garden, things that I need to keep an eye on a whole lot closer, things I'm not sure of, stuff like that. But as you can see, my Egyptian walking onions arrived and they are thriving. So far, none of them have done the bulb that's at the top that drops down and produces more of itself. We'll see whether or not it actually gets to that, and it should survive our winter here, so everybody cross your fingers, we shall see. Also, baby carrots. I did not think that those were going to grow at all, ever. And I happened to get a package from my mother, and I did not think that they were going to grow, so I took the entire package and just kind of scattered them. I should have known better. My mother's a great gardener. She collected really good seeds. They grew a lot. And oddly enough, I covered them with the wood, watered them in, they did not grow. I took them off. I got really upset because I was like, okay, I give up trying to grow until I can get a greenhouse. Well, what happened is we got just like a couple of days of rain, the temperature cooled off, and they sprouted on their own. Figures, about the time I gave up on them, they started working. So in the other gardens, I've got a little bit of bok choy growing. I've got some broccoli, some not cauliflower. I wanted cauliflower. I did not get cauliflower. But I'll show those really quick because I'm not exactly sure what all is what until it gets a little bit bigger. I spread them out and I've had to replant most of them because something keeps eating them, something keeps digging them up, some of them just die. We'll just see what shows up at the end. That's the bok choy. Pretty sure that's what that is too. I think this was broccoli. If the bugs will quit eating it. I have got other things planted. I'm pretty sure those last ones are the cabbages. That's what they kind of look like, but I can't tell if something's nibbling on them or not. Oh, that's really, really bright. Let me go over here and chit-chat. Yeah, we got my green peppers back behind me. They're kind of slowing down, but I'll pick them every now and then. And okay. Pretty sure I've gotten all kinds of dust. I'm purposely wearing my gloves all over the place because I got stung by something. And I've got a sore on my hand, so I'm trying to protect that spot. But it's on the hand that's on the camera, so I think it's safe. Anyway, the peppers are doing okay. I just did a full harvest, so there's not a whole lot growing right now. I've tried to pull as much as possible. There's not any threat of frost yet, but the cool down is happening, so they're going to start producing pretty soon. I don't know if I'll be able to overwinter them, but I'm going to try to. And I have got my 2 elderberries in the front yard, and I've got my fig tree in the front yard, but I think I'm going to do a orchard fruit bush thing on the other channel because right now they're just kind of, well, they're sticks with leaves. That's really all they are. They're not doing a whole hell of a lot right now. They just got transplanted, so they're not doing a whole heck. They're not doing a whole heck of a lot, so it's fine. Let's see, other future plans, we're still planning on getting someone out here to help us with the tree issue, getting a couple of them cut back because some of them are kind of dangerous and some are just kind of a nuisance. Like a big limb hanging over all of the vehicles. It's not safe. My porch looks dirty. Here, let's turn this way. Yep, that's just really dark. Okay, it's not gonna work. This video is gonna be hella long if I'm not careful. God, my nose. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're going to go ahead and call it here. Like I said, if you have any ideas on microphones, let me know down in the comment section if you've heard really good things. And I say only female voices, or at least someone who has tested it with a female voice, only because I think the pitch works differently on how you have to change it. I need to make sure that it's actually going to work for around my pitch. So if you happen to see anybody who is using a lapel mic, they happen to be a woman, and they happen to, in their description, tell you what kind of lapel mic they're using, if you wouldn't mind just like funneling that information or something like that, that would be awesome. Also, if you have any ideas for a homesteading channel name, let me know down in the comment section. I'm still going back and forth on a lot of different names on whether or not I want them to be connected to this channel, as far as, oh my gosh, my nose. Okay. I'm still trying to go back and forth on whether or not I should have it as an addition to the name that is on this channel, like use my name and then put homesteading, or if I should actually name it something completely different, like actually naming my property and using that name and not necessarily worrying about whether or not it's attached in name to my gaming channel, because gaming and homesteading are completely different. So it's not necessary. So if you happen to have any ideas, just let me know. Also, I think this might, as it is fall time, I think this is probably going to be the last one of these videos that I put on this channel. However long it takes for me to make the other channel, I'm hoping to go ahead and get it done. That way it'll be set and ready to go in January when I start up planting crops and everything. And this fall I'm also going to be trying to put in as many of the fruiting trees and bushes as I possibly can, so they'll be nice and ready for spring. That's Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for the day. I hope to see you guys in our next video, and I hope to see you later on whenever we start the new channel. You have a wonderful day, a wonderful night, and you stay shiny. Bye! Oh, hole in my glove. I have a hole in my glove.